There's been some speculation because Desmond is not in that final cast photo
Yes.
that was released. Is that significant?
All we can say is the only thing that speaks for itself is the show itself. You know, we don't want to say what's intentional and what's not intentional because that takes some of the fun away from the fans. But, you know, in this case, a cast photo that includes some characters and not others is a little bit sort of beyond our area of involvement. There is an organic process to writing the show, and that's what's fun about it. And it's one thing to know, here's what the story of the finale is. Here are the events that happen, but the way that you tell that story, in what order you tell that story, and then what the characters are actually saying to each other in scenes, that all comes in the writing process itself. So a lot of the stuff that we wanted to do in the finale basically came down to a question of, have we earned this? You know, have we gotten to the scene, or does it feel forced? And if we felt we earned it, then we executed it. And if we felt like we were forcing it, we changed direction slightly. But to answer the question of how much of the finale was part of the original plan that we've been talking about, a very, very large part of it. If something ends in exactly the way that you planned 4 or 5 years ago, it's pretty hard to get to that same endpoint via an entirely different set of steps.
I think the last finale that people had this much interest in is probably Sopranos, and what David Chase did. What did you think of how he did that?
The idea that still, you know, several years later, that scene sits with me, and I thought about it for weeks after it aired, and got into these impassioned conversations with people about it. That's what makes me love that finale. But
is that what you're aiming for with Lost?
No. Well, what we're aiming for is to tell our story, and I think that you know, that the Sopranos ending only would have worked for the Sopranos. If we tried a stunt like cutting to black on our show, which is an entirely different animal and has a mystery engine to it, you know, people would literally tar and feather us, and deservedly so. No journey. There will not be. They'll go on a journey, but there will be no journey music. And you know, the great thing about series finales is they have to fit the show. So the MASH series finale is so specific to MASH, and the Newhart, you know, finale is so specific to Newhart. But other shows could not get away with. Matthew Fox can't wake up at the end of Lost and basically be in his party of 5 Charlie Salinger self and say, I just had this dream about an island, because we're not Newhart, you know. So what we're trying to do is to end Lost in a way that feels Lostian and fair, and will generate a tremendous amount of theorizing, which the show in and of itself has always done. We're going to be as definitive as we can be and say this is our ending, but there's no way to end the show where the fans aren't going to say, what do they mean by this? Which is why we're not going to explain it.